Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. On this channel, we talk about problems people face in their day-to-day life. Let's start with the video.
Being at a better pay rank, my dad always wants me, 28F, to assist my brother, 27M, in his finances, which often gets hectic as I have to keep up with my expenses, plus my relationship with my brother has never been that smooth. And now expecting me to pay for his wedding is absolutely absurd with the fact that he does not even want to see me at his wedding. This dispute did not start today. The conflict has always been there since we were kids. Being the only son, my brother got all the attention and privileges that were to be divided among us. He used to get all the toys he always asked for, all the attention and love he ever desired. There has been this bias situation in our home since forever. Whenever he was up to any mischief, I was the one who got in trouble at the end. Plus, he was never a bright student and also a very lazy person. I was told to do all the work, which was to be divided among us. As I was a bright kid, I expected my mom and dad to support me through my higher education. I worked hard, day and night, and put all my efforts to attain good grades with an expectation that my parents would send me to the state capital for higher education. When the results arrived, I was lacking in some subjects and was told that if I wanted to go to the state capital, I am supposed to repeat my senior year, which made me, my 1 year younger brother's, class fellow. The next year, when results were announced, I had improved very well, but my brother brought a poor percentage. And to my horror, he was sent to the state capital for higher education and I was kept back. My parents financed his university and supported him throughout while I had to deal with his trauma and failure which I never deserved. As I was pursuing my degree in my hometown and he was in the state capital, even though he was a total loser, I used to fight and argue all the time as this one thing in my mind kept triggering me that he did not even deserve it. My parents told me that I was jealous of my brother and could not stand his success, so I simply hate him for no reason. I never hated him. Whatever he was because of my parents' bias. He completed his degree with the least effort and literally the worst CGPA. Even being in the local university, I came out with an 88% result, which was a huge success and access to endless opportunities. But this only turned out to be the worst. As I have perceived, my parents started to hold a grudge for me as I was succeeding, but the apple of their eye was standing nowhere. Now they started to remind me of my responsibilities, and then that I should be supporting my family, and that siblings are to be the support for each other and not to keep a rivalry with. As I had a great result, I quickly landed a good job with a very good salary, which was around $150,000 per annum. My parents were simply impressed, but never wanted me to spend that lavish amount on myself. They always pushed me to support my brother, who with much difficulty landed a job for around $45,000 per annum. With good intentions sometimes and with a grudge at other times, I started supporting my brother with his finances. To be honest, he was always extravagant and wanted to spend on the silliest things, which further pissed me off. And if I ever tried to talk to him, he would simply get our parents involved. Now comes this wedding. For most, I don't get that if you are not that stable financially, why would you start a family? A person who cannot even afford himself wants to start a family without even giving it a thought that how he is going to afford it. Of course he could see my money. I was just thinking that I will have to support him a bit more if he starts a family when my dad dropped a bomb. He called me to talk. When I went, he told me that I was the one who has to finance this wedding as they have spent all their money on their only son's education who is good for nothing. I was shocked to know this. They were not ready to spend even a penny on my education, never even appreciated my efforts, and now they expect everything from me. I talked to my brother, and you know what? He shamelessly told me that I was the one who was responsible for all the expenditures of the wedding. I knew I could not step back, so I simply created a separate account for the wedding finances and put my whole savings into it. The wedding shopping and planning started soon after. All these people who I'm supposed to call a family were spending my hard-earned money on something that had nothing to do with me. Then at lunch one day, when the wedding was being discussed, my brother boldly told everyone that he does not want to see me at the wedding. This was just another bomb. I asked for reasons and tried to sort out this thing, but my dad gave me a shut-up call and said that I was just worsening the things, and he will sort everything out. I left the table horrified. Later on, my brother explained to my parents that if I was seen at his wedding, I will make him feel like a loser, which he is, never mind. And secondly, I will be a bad omen as I do not have good intentions for him and that I was always jealous. This was as ridiculous as it could be. My dad told me that I should just avoid the wedding as it was no big deal, so I just announced that okay, if I'm not attending the wedding, I am also not spending on it, and also blocked the wedding account withdrawing all the remaining amount. This drove both my dad and my brother mad angry. Am I the a-hole? Update. Okay, there is an update, guys. My dad says that he is sorry for my brother's behavior towards me, which he himself rooted since childhood, but on my part, I was also not behaving the right way. He said that it is my brother's wedding, and he is the one who is supposed to decide who will be attending it and who will not. Plus, I should not make a fuss about it. He says that I can simply walk away from the wedding, mind my own business, and not care about him. The thing is, why should I not step back wholly? I should not attend the wedding and also not spend on it, right? Plus, am I an ATM? This makes me feel used and exploited. My brother wants the wedding to be lavish, but does not want to see someone in the wedding who is helping to make it lavish. I also have to face society. What am I supposed to say to my circle, my fiancé, and my extended family? What reasons am I supposed to give for not attending my only brother's wedding? That I hate him? That he knows it? Plus, I have an evil eye for him? Will this not portray me as a criminal? Firstly, I never hated him. I was just pissed by my parents' inclination towards him. They were always showering him with endless love and support, while I had to struggle at every step of my life. Also, I have been used and exploited in so many ways. In the first place, I was not rewarded for my efforts and hard work in education. The rewards which I deserved were deliberately bestowed to my brother. Secondly, when I achieved the life I deserved, I had to share it with my brother. Third, I am the one who is financing this bloody wedding. I don't know if my dad is sorry or just wants to make up so I will not step back from spending on my brother's wedding. I guess he is just scared that his beloved son's wedding will get ruined. Plus, my brother did not even bother to communicate with me. I feel like I have always been a maid for him as he treated me that way since forever. He even used to call me from another room just to fetch him a glass of water. And if I ever declined, he always told Mom. She served me with a scold now and then. He has always taken all the privileges that I earned hard while I suffered the trauma of failure which I did not deserve. I could not take that much privilege on his side. Whenever he used to come back home, we were always in a fight or an argument. He was sent to the state capital, was financed throughout, but still chose to waste his time and ruin his career. If he had worked hard in the university, he could at least finance his wedding. Being in university, he was still not as dedicated as he should have been. He used to just roam around the capital, enjoy dinners at expensive restaurants and whatnot. He was living the life I always worked for. I kept telling my parents that your son is good for nothing. Update 2. I am here with another update from this obnoxious wedding which has left everything ruined. My dad has somehow convinced my brother to allow me to the wedding, which itself is absurd enough. I had to get permission to attend the wedding that is in a way set up by me. Also, I am told to show up for only one event, that too for the minimum time. My sister-in-law, 25F, my brother's fiancé, is also not on the side to let me attend the wedding, and that is quite understandable as, of course, why my brother would ever portray me as a good sister in front of her. I also understand why my brother is compromising now as his bride's dress is still to be purchased, and of course he does not want to risk it. This whole situation has torn my heart into pieces. I just hate the idea of this wedding right now and want to run away somewhere. I feel disgusted at the thought that for the people I call my family, I was just a source of money that they could use whenever they wanted to. My fiancé is very supportive and says that whatever decision I will take, he will be by my side. If I step back from attending the wedding and also decline to offer more money, my brother and dad will both be mad and furious. If I attend the wedding, my brother, his fiancé, and his extended family will not be very pleased. I am confused. At one moment, I just want to be the meanest and demand back all my financing, and at the other moment, I just want to leave everything and let go of all this drama. In my opinion, she is not the a-hole. She is just reacting according to the situation she is being put in, and the situation itself is the worst. Not being appreciated and supportive since childhood has evolved her into a mean and negative personality. She's just hijacking the wedding account and not letting them use her money any further. But instead of considering their behavior, her family chose to act angry and make the situation worse. You're the a-hole. In my opinion, she's acting like total crap. It is understandable that she did not enjoy the privileges from her parents as much as her brother did, but her parents somehow managed to raise her and make her capable of pursuing the degree, so she should be humble towards them. Also, she is the one who is in better financial conditions than both her brother and her parents. She should be eagerly offering help than being a mean a-hole. Being better at everything has simply turned her into a mean and selfish person. She can simply help them through this wedding and then mind her own business, but she only wants the drama and the attention she always craved for. Next story. Me, 27F, and my fiancé, 28M, have been going through some financial and marital struggles. I've been at my job for 2 years and my income is a pretty good amount. Fiancé, let's call him Tyler, works a minimum wage fast food job. I've never brought up the income difference to him, mainly because it doesn't really matter who the breadwinner is, and he loves his job. Recently, over the course of 4 months, he has been spending well above his means, including some of my paychecks and even savings. I have 2 car payments, insurances, bills, etc., which he does help with bills but not the cars because I believe they are my vehicles, my responsibility. We live in the state where marijuana is legal, and that's where most of the money is going. I've tried keeping us afloat to no avail. I've begged him to cut down on how much he buys, and he always says he will, but never does. We've had multiple arguments regarding this. So far, we've had to move due to not being able to afford the rent due to said spending habits. We decided mutually it would be beneficial to move back in with our parents to save money. I finally put my foot down when we lost our home and told him I was separating finances and access and that I would no longer be helping support his habit. He also recently lost his job due to his habit and not wanting to go to work, so he is no longer contributing. He's been begging me for money for his habit and I told him no. He called me a selfish a-hole. Went on about how I always brag about my pay, which I've never done due to wanting to stay humble. I don't come from much and I'm trying to build a better life than what I had. And that he needed money for food, gas, etc. Now, I have no problem helping him with necessary things, as such, but I know that whatever money I give him will go to his habit. I feel bad for not giving him anything and I'm wondering if I'm the a-hole because what if he really does need it for said necessities? But I've given him money in the past for that and it went to his habit. Am I the a-hole? Update. So I convinced him to go to counseling and therapy. I gave him the ultimatum and he's choosing to go for me. So far, he hasn't picked up the pipe and seems better. Thank you to everyone that gave advice. It really helped me figure out what to do. Not the a-hole, but you might be an a-hole if you marry someone you have such fundamental disagreements with. I would seriously consider not getting married until the dual spending and incompatible amount of drug use issues are resolved and have been solved for a while. Not the a-hole. Welcome to life with an addict. If the financial ramifications have been so severe that you've had to move back in with your parents and he's refusing counseling for his addiction, he's not going to stop anytime soon. He's not going to take counseling seriously until he's ready to quit and change. He may have been a nice guy, but it's pretty clear he's willing to drag you down with him. Walk away now. Not the a-hole. Right now, he is just asking and begging, but when you are married and your incomes are blended, the asks will turn into demands. Unless you're prepared to support his habit, I would strongly consider your relationship with him, because unless you do, this can easily turn into resentment, which is the poison well which will kill your relationship. Here's the next story. So, I, 40F, have 3 children. 1, Kate, 17F, from a previous marriage, and twins 7M and F with my new husband, Ben. Me and Ben both work long hours, but we manage to make it work. I work from 7 to 3, and Ben works from 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. Because of this, Ben is in charge of the kids in the morning, and I get the kids on my way home and take care of them until he gets home. Everything after is split 50-50. I recently got a promotion at work I accepted because it was good pay. However, I had to work more hours. 2 of those hours make me go over the school day. So on 2 days of the week, I won't be able to pick up the kids, and no adults will be home for an hour and a half. I told Ben about the promotion and time change, and he was happy for me and excited about my pay raise. I started to look for a babysitter for the kids for those 3 hours. Once I found quite a few who seemed like a good fit, I went to Ben to see what he thought. He gave me a strange look and asked why we need a babysitter. I reminded him of the time changes, and he said to just get Kate to look after them. I said that was out of the question and we're not making Kate have the responsibility. He said that Kate liked to babysit, and I said on the one-off, not something that she would have to work her whole schedule around. He then said that it would be a waste of money for a babysitter, and we can use that money for fun activities for them, and that I wasn't thinking about the bigger picture. He repeated that Kate loved babysitting, and that it would be a great bonding time for them. I disagreed and said there was absolutely no way I was allowing this, and that he should start looking for a babysitter. I thought I was doing the right thing, but during the week he kept making jabs at me. For example, I suggested that we go somewhere expensive as a congrats dinner date for us, and he said that's a great idea, too bad we can't afford it. He also pointed out a few expensive things and made similar remarks. This made me doubt myself a bit, so I went to a friend. She agreed with him on the part about saving up for something bigger and suggested all the things we could do on holiday instead, so now I'm feeling confused. Edit. This keeps coming up in the comments. No one has talked to Kate yet. I recognize that was a fault on my behalf and will be talking to her tomorrow as she's at a sleepover. Not the a-hole. The twins are your children and your responsibilities, not Kate's. Speaking as the older sister of twins, being expected to babysit every week sucked. It wasn't a bonding experience. It caused resentment. We all get along great now. As a mom now, that's the last thing I would expect my eldest to do. Have you guys had a conversation with Kate? Maybe she wouldn't mind, but if she's at all hesitant, I wouldn't make her. Not the a-hole. Your daughter is not free labor, and it's incredibly selfish of your husband to consider her as such. If he wants her to be the babysitter and she's free, fine, but she should be getting paid for her time. Your husband is a huge a-hole in how he's handling this. Again, there's nothing wrong with asking your daughter if she wants to make some money doing the babysitting, but treating her as a free nanny is not. At best, he's treating her like a third parental unit, which is also not okay. Not the a-hole. You're doing the right thing and your daughter will appreciate it. She's not a parent. Doing free childcare is not her responsibility. And if you force her to do that, she will resent it. Explain parentification to your husband and stand your ground.